my God, stop it. Right, bit of light on the subject. Hi, be with you in a sec. Just got a few things to organize with the different channels and stuff. Meditation's coming. I just have to get... Oh my God, what am I doing? I'm trying to talk and do things at the same time, which never works for me. Okay, good. So that's 1 out of 2. I'm off a little bit here. I can bring this in a bit closer now. Okay, now if you are watching on Facebook, I just have to turn off and turn on again very quickly. If you're, hello Katie, bonjour Pierre, meditation's coming. I just have to, if you're on Instagram, that's fine, nothing's going to change there. I just have to turn off and turn on again for Facebook. It just saves me editing it afterwards. Meditation's coming, we're nearly there. Facebook's a bit slow on the uptake, as usual. Okay, looking good. Good. Okay, we're set. How are you? How's your day gone? Good, I hope. It's fine if it's not, but I hope it's going well. We're going to do a bit of meditation now. These meditations are part of the further emergence work that I do, and I'll explain all about that at the end of the meditation. But for now, if you're used to meditating, if you're an experienced meditator, brilliant. Can you hang on though for a minute while I explain what I do, just for the benefit of people who are new to meditation? There's lots of different styles of meditation. This is what I do. I've been doing it for years. For me, it always starts with why I would meditate. I'm trying to connect to a part of me that I connect to every night when I go to sleep. Not the dreaming bit, the bit after dreaming. So I'm dreaming and then I drop out the bottom of dreaming into deep dreamless sleep. And when I'm there, I have no thoughts, I've got no memory, I've got no feelings, emotions, no personality. I don't have a bed, I don't have anything. I don't even have me. I sort of don't really exist. I sort of cease to exist, certainly in the way that I normally register my existence. So I mean, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? That sounds like death, and yet I love going to sleep, and when I wake up in the morning I feel refreshed. So some part of me knows that that is a good place that I go to, and that's where I want to go to when I meditate. I just want to do it consciously. So if you're new to meditation, don't try this lying down, because you'll fall asleep, and if you don't fall asleep you'll battle sleep, both of which are very kind of counter to what you're trying to do. So yeah, just sit up. You don't have to sit in a lotus position unless you're comfortable sitting in a lotus position. I'm just sitting in a chair. If you're sitting in a chair, make sure it's not a big comfortable armchair because you'll just fall asleep. So, as I said, no thoughts in this place that I go to. So it's sort of like a place that my mind just can't seem to get to. So I have to figure out some way of working with my mind to sort of part the curtains of my mind so I can go into this place. So what I do is I make an arrangement with my mind where I say, hey, can you just not think for the next 15 minutes because we want to do some meditation. And at this stage my mind is on board, so that's good. It's important to have your mind on board. Usually not much of a problem when you're starting out meditation because it's new and interesting, and minds like new interesting things. Having your mind on board comes in when you're trying to do a long-term meditation practice. And I can tell you, ways to help with that if you want, but for now we'll just keep going. So my mind is on board, that's good. Then the next thing is to stop thinking. Now stopping thinking is easier than you would think because it's easier to stop. It's easy to stop because regardless of what I'm thinking about, which would be the content of my thought, the structure of my thought is always the same. It's always pictures and sound. So if I turn off the pictures and I turn off the sound, that's it. I'm not thinking, which is great. And as soon as I do that, I'm into the practice of meditation. Now, the practice of meditation runs parallel to the intention of meditation. So the intention of my meditation is, as I said, to go to this deep, still, profound, calm, Zen-like, all the words that are used to describe meditation, that place. The practice of meditation runs along parallel with it, and it starts as soon as I stop thinking. And it pretty much goes, I turn off the pictures, I turn off the sound, so I bring my mind to not thinking. Then some time will pass and I'll discover I'm thinking again. I go, oh, I'm thinking again. Turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, bring my mind back to not thinking. Then some more time will pass, I'll discover I'm thinking again. Like, oh, I'm thinking again. Same again, turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, bring my mind back to not thinking. Then some more time will pass, and I'll discover I'm thinking again. Oh, I'm thinking again, and so on. So the practice of meditation is repeatedly bringing myself back to not thinking every time I discover that I'm thinking. And that's an important distinction to know about, because it's easy to get the idea that to meditate properly, you shouldn't be thinking at all, which isn't the case. These two things, the intention and the practice, go together, and they sort of do a little dance, Sometimes you'll be very still and deep and calm, and you can feel like your nervous system's settling down. It's beautiful. And then other times you'll be discovering that you're thinking. Both are as powerful as the other. It's obvious when that it's powerful when you're in that deep, still, calm, possibly eternal place. It's not so obvious, the power isn't so obvious when you're discovering that you're thinking, because there's a space there to get irritated and stuff. But it's just as powerful, but a bit more subtle. Because if you're like me, what'll happen is, the things that you think about are to do with you. So I'll be thinking about, what am I going to do about that thing? Why did I say that to that person? Why did that person say that thing to me? Or something like that, right? So let's say I'm meditating, I'm in the middle of meditating, and then I'm in the middle of one of those thoughts. And I go, oh, I'm thinking, turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, bring myself back to not thinking. Indirectly, what I'm saying to myself is, that thought that you were just thinking, the one that you thought was you and that you were it, well, you just made that disappear. You just made it, poof, gone. So you're not that thought. In fact, you're not any of your thoughts. You're something else. That's very powerful. And then the fact that you do that repeatedly, that's very powerful as well. So both are powerful. So don't get the idea that you shouldn't be thinking at all. And don't also get the idea that the amount of times that you have to bring yourself back from thinking equates to whether it was a good meditation or not. Because that changes all the time anyway. Day to day, hour to hour. You could meditate in the morning and have to bring yourself back from thinking lots of times. And then you might meditate in the afternoon and you only have to bring yourself back from thinking a few times. Neither is better than the other. They're both the same. The main thing is, just every time you discover that you're thinking, bring yourself back to not thinking. You do that, you're doing great. Now, while all that's going on, I'm also becoming a little bit more conscious of my body and my breathing. And I'm just a little bit more focused on tension in my body and letting it go. So I'm scanning my body from my head down to my feet and back up again. Very slowly. Anywhere I find tension, I let it go. And I use my out breath to help let it go. For two reasons. One, it's just natural to just breathe it away. Okay. But the other, more subtle reason is it's a good way of bringing a bit more awareness to my breathing, because it's very easy to hold your breath or to stop breathing altogether in meditation. So using my out breath to let go of the tension is just a great way of being a little bit more conscious of my breathing. I mean, you can deepen your breathing as well. That's always very helpful. And just as a general principle, it's always better to breathe out for longer than you breathe in. Right, so I've done that. Then also the other thing I'm paying a little bit more attention to as I'm scanning my body is any structures in my body that go across my body or transverse. Mostly my body runs longitudinally, head to toe. Anywhere that goes across has a tendency to pick up tension a little bit more. They operate a little bit like a log going across a stream. It just picks up the twigs and the branches and the leaves, except in my body, it's tension. So I'm spending a little bit more time on my eyes, that they're a transverse site, my jaw and my tongue, the base of my neck, my shoulder girdle, all my joints, they're transverse sites as well. So my shoulders, my elbows, my wrists, my fingers, my heart area, my respiratory diaphragm, all my intestines, my pelvic floor, my hips, my knees, my ankles, and my feet, my toes. Having a nice quiet room is very helpful if you're new to meditation, because one of the things that triggers thoughts is noise. So, and also when you close your eyes, your hearing is going to amplify. So the quieter the room, the more you'll be helping your mind. And then the other thing I do to help my mind is I set a timer for how long I'm going to meditate for. And that just hops over the need for my mind to start wondering about how long it's been going for. I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes, but I'd encourage you to set yours for 5 minutes if you're new to meditation. And repeat that 3 times, because 15 minutes is a long time if you're not used to it. So it's something you can work up to. Okay, so just checking for questions. I don't think so. Facebook seems to have dropped out. Sorry, all the Facebook people. Okay, timer set. Off we go into the mystery. Okay, if you feel like you've gone very deeply inside, then take a minute to come back from it before you open your eyes. Or if you feel like you can hold the inner space and the outer space at the same time, then just open your eyes. And if when you do that you feel like you've lost contact with the inner space, then you can just close your eyes again. Oh yeah, there it is. Open your eyes again, close them again if you need them. Use your eyes like a valve to balance the inner space and the outer space. So as I said at the beginning, these meditations I do are part of the further emergence work that I do. Further emergence is to do with growth, inner growth, growth in consciousness. You could call it spiritual growth, growth in awareness, that kind of growth. Because your body grows for a while, but then it pretty much stops when you become an adult. It stops growing. But you keep growing on the inside. That doesn't stop. You only have to think back to who you were 10 years ago to see, oh yeah. And just like when you were a kid, maybe you had periods of accelerated growth, which would have been maybe called growth spurts. They happen on the inside too. And those inner growth spurts are the focus of further emergence. That's the bit further emergence is kind of geared towards. Because when you're a kid and you have a growth spurt, it's not like your parents bring you to the hospital or bring you to the doctor even. You know, if you've got growth pains, you just go, what's going on? And your parents go, that's just a growth spurt. You're just going through a growth spurt. The pains will pass. It's fine. It's much harder though when you're an adult and you're going through an inner growth spurt. It can feel like it can be hard to know that it's natural and it's not that there's not something wrong or that you're broken in some way, because it can be quite disorienting. It can come in lots of different ways. The most gentle way is just a feeling of, a lot of insights happening in a row, and you can almost feel that you're changing. That'll be the gentle version of it. Katie is just saying thank you. You're very welcome, Katie. If it's not more the gentle version, it can be really disorienting. You can feel very lonely and out of it really, because you can go from almost overnight, your life is great, you totally know who you are in your life, everybody gets you, you get everybody, and then almost overnight it can be like, I don't recognize my life, I don't seem to fit in it anymore, I don't recognize myself in my life, nobody gets me, I don't really get anybody else either, no one really understands what's going on for me. It can be very just difficult and isolating and lonely. And there's lots of other manifestations as well. You can get physical symptoms and all sorts of other things, but that's the gist of it. So these meditations help because being familiar with your inner landscape helps with navigating inner growth spurts. Then there's a Zoom group every week on Fridays. So after this, I'll be doing the Zoom group. It's at 8 o'clock Irish time, so what's that, 40 minutes? And that's a chance to talk and meditate a bit more deeply, answer questions, and see that there's other people going through this. It's not just me. And that's very helpful. So they're open to everybody. You're very welcome to come. You'll find the link to it on the website, furtheremergence.com. Just look for Zoom groups. You'll find the Zoom link. I also work with people one-to-one because I've been through this process myself many times and I've helped a lot of people through it as well. So the one-to-one work is kind of a mix of, I think of it as in front of the scenes and behind the scenes work. In front of the scenes is where we talk and there's some reflection and we talk it through through whatever stage of the process the person is at. And then I also do some behind the scenes energetic work to help their system become more harmonious with the process. So there's that. The Zoom groups, just going back to the Zoom groups, there's a podcast and then there's videos of the Zoom groups if you want to look at them as well. They're available. And then I've written 4 books as well, all roughly around the subject of further emergence. So they're there as well. So if you're still here, or if you've watched all the way to the end of the video, maybe something's resonating with you, maybe something's ringing a bell. So if you have that feeling of something's resonating with you, then that will also inform you of what to do next, whether it's just do some more meditations, whether it's come to watch some videos about the Zoom groups, or come to a Zoom group, or get in touch for some one-to-one work, or read one of the books, or whatever. That part of you will guide you with it as well. So thanks very much for meditating with me, and see you tomorrow for some more meditation. Bye.